to record it like it's my show. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Keeping It Spiritually Simple. And I've been doing my zone technique therapy sessions. And I have been asking some of my clients to just sort of give me a little bit of feedback so that you can hear it from the horse's mouth. So, Chanda, you had your experience with zone technique therapy a few weeks back. And how were you feeling before the session? And then how were you feeling during the session? And then if you want to make some notes about how you work through it the next few weeks, that would be awesome.
Well, first of all, thank you for the session. When you first said, I'm just going to do it on the phone, I was like, really? We're not going to be like face to face? You're like, no, it's good this way. I was like, okay. And it worked really well because I was
Mm,
able to totally immerse myself into the session more so, I feel like. Then maybe and for someone like me who is very intuitive and who is working in this industry full time professionally, sometimes it takes a lot for someone to really get in with me. I easily can leave, but sometimes it's like, do I really gel? And I really gelled with Sandra, first of all. I really, speaking directly to your viewers, I really felt like there was a realness and authenticness, the groundedness in your energy is, I believe, really what drawed me to you in the first place. So I wanted to say that. But so before the session, I was going through a lot of trauma with my son, who is mentally, physically paralyzed, mentally disabled, recovering drug addict. And it was real stressful for a very long time. And it was coming to that climatic situation. Um, and it was real tough. It was a real challenging period. So, and you were the first, because I went through about 3 or 4 weeks solid of just working on me in the aftermath of all of that. And you were the first. So I felt like you were my catalyst to my healing. And then when we were in it, so tell me a little bit about your zone technique, because when I get in it, I'm very spacey, you know. Um,
sure.
so if you kind of help me through that, that would be
hmm
easier for me to answer the
So,
questions.
zone technique therapy is where there's 6 zones in the body that house all of the cells within the body. And they're associated with vertebrae: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral. And so when I tuned into your energy, I got, I believe it was glandular, which is zone 1. And I was working on the particular cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral uh, uh, vertebrae that were associated with the glandular. And in doing so, you and I kind of went on a trip. Now, what you were talking about being on the phone versus a Zoom or in person, when you are a highly empathic person, you almost have to take some sensories out of it. So it's nice to be on the phone because then no one's staring at you, and no, it just takes the pressure off. So I'm glad to hear that that was helpful for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
So we kind of began the session with tuning into that and getting you into your breath. Um, and then when going into the vertebrae that were associated with that, and then so many other things went on during that session.
We were, I know I was in another reality throughout that session. And it wasn't even that long of a session. I think it was like 30, 40 minutes at most.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked the breathing techniques I use them to this day now. It's like I use them every time because I get over here in this 7 foot Russian pyramid before I do any kind of work like this. And I'm using those breathing that it was a that to just get it going. And I was like, that's so
Mm-hmm.
good. It really helps me. And then when we got into it, I remember feeling very dreamy. And I felt like, and like I said, it's been a few weeks back, and we probably should have done this right afterwards. But what I do remember is recalling that my guides were there. I had my dragons came in, and they had presented some fire to burn some things away, I believe it was. And then it felt like there were some other folks there. You said my grandmother or a grandmother energy came through. I was
Mm-hmm.
also feeling like the sensations in my legs, like because I have I experience lower issues in my back, and often I'll get like those tingling things going down my legs. I was experiencing things like my as she was going through, she spoke some light language, and she also was doing some toning work, some different toning work, and my legs would go like I would jerk a little bit, and I hadn't had anybody do that to me ever. Like that never had happened, so I was pretty impressed by that.
Mm.
Um, but I don't remember exactly
Mm.
all of it, other than the fact that it felt really good, and then I remember the aftermath more so than anything.
Well, when grandmother came in for you, it was they were swaddling you and wrapping you in what
That's
looked
right.
like a
Mass
mesh, and then it was like banana leaves,
Like those
and they
big
were
palm
yeah,
leaves.
they were
Yes,
wrapping
yes,
you like a
yes,
burrito,
yes.
and then she lit you on fire, and then some of the light language came through, and she was
Mm-hmm.
having me do energy work to keep igniting the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then afterwards, when she opened the leaves, it was like all this energetic smoke was coming out. It was like an initiation to end all old programs and
Yeah.
to release so many things for you. And then afterwards, you look like this pure skin. There wasn't a blemish or a mark on it. It was like just this gorgeous ivory body within, like a little baby, like within
Yeah.
this banana wrapping.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was going on. So, please go ahead.
Yes, I remember, and the lotus flower was showing up for me throughout that as well. And the lotus has always been a big, strong symbol for me. But with when you started talking about like I'm being wrapped, I'm being burritoed, this is exactly, like how my grandmother would do it. My original grandmother here in this world, she's passed now, but that's exactly how she would do it. And then when you got to burn away all the old programming, all of the old density, and distortions attached to all of that old programming, I have not felt so good after a session. I'm not kidding. I was literally, I couldn't believe it. I was up, I was moving, I was doing, I was working, and I had been really in this dark night of the soul for a while. So, in the aftermath, I really felt like I can live life again, you know. It was like, yeah, we can go. I was real wired, in fact,
Mhm.
and that hadn't been in days. I'd been real low, in the dark, all the curtains drawn, all blinds closed,
Mhm.
kind of thing. So yeah, the
Yeah,
burning
so
away
like
was cool.
it incinerated so much of stuff for you. So it was like a rebirthing.
Yeah.
And I forget what the message was, but I think it was something uh, like this is the end. You don't have to bring anything from the past forward, or
Yeah.
something like that. Every session is just different. Every session is custom blended. So, what I do with you, I may not do with someone else. It's whatever spirit brings
Yeah.
in.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we don't talk before the session. We just go straight into the session. So I didn't
Right.
know a lot of the things that were going on at all.
Right.
I can only
Right.
go with what presents in the moment.
Yeah.
Um, so then, how did you feel after? Do you remember after a few days
My
or?
physical body felt really good after, like, because I had gone through other sessions with others, like back to back, like I did one, two, three. And then my physical body felt really good. Like, because I was scared a little bit. I must admit, I was a little scared. I was like, okay, I'm doing Sandra. Am I going to be ready in a couple of days to do Rev Shar, who is my local lady that I see? And I was feeling really good to get there, to do it, and she was able to kind of work through some other things with me. but she and I have been seeing each other for years. But you were that catalyst, and I still like it. That's if you catalyst me, almost, I want to say, carterized the burning away in order for me to be reborn, so that I could very tenderly and very innocently move forward from all of the trauma with the next person in line. So, but
Hmm.
the physical body felt good. And sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes if I do this kind of work, I'm sore, I've got achy joints, or my back hurts extra more. Well, it's because I did all that energy work yesterday. No, my body felt really good. And I remember that.
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. And I know that you've been on your journey and that you do your deep work and your deep dives and your shadow work, and then of course we have everything in the kitchen sink that life throws at us. But I'm so happy to hear that just one session had such a profound effect on you.
Yeah, it sure
Which
did.
which has a profound effect on me, because I was getting the picture there when you were using the word cauterization. That is when we stop a leak or a burn, or we're trying to end a fusion of something. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like she was burning away all of the old everything. It's like all those paths, everything else no longer needed. This is now, you've been rebirthed, and you would have to mentally go back and drag anything back, which is what a lot of people will do because they're
Mm-hmm.
accustomed to being a creature of habit. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad to hear that you're aware of what's going on and you're able to step into the newness of truly who you are without all of the magnetic cords of old programming that's placed upon all of us, but on you in particular.
Yeah. Well, I was able to fully step into the embodiment of the soul.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Chanda Sparkles. And you
You're welcome.
guys, she does amazing healing work. She does amazing astrology chart reading. She has live shows, so many things that cost you nothing to listen to, that her content that she puts out. So I will put her links in the description when
Thank
I
you.
post this. In the meantime, so much love to you, sister. And anyone looking for a zone technique therapy session, I am going to continue to do them. You just email me at info at embodiment of the soul, and we'll get it on the books. So much love to you.
Bye.